Here are the top 10 Canadian prep hockey programs as of 2022 based on the last 5 years of the My Hockey rankings. Number 1, we got... What's going on, guys? This is Brian from Advancement Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about the top 10 Canadian prep hockey programs as of 2022. Alright, so you guys probably seen the video that we just made a couple weeks ago about the top 10 US New England prep hockey programs as of 2022, which you can click up here if you want to see. This time we decided to make one about Canada. We're going to do one single video about all the prep programs, but there's so many, and there's so many in Canada, there's so many in the US that it would have been too complicated to do all in one. So we decided to do it separately and to give you guys more prep schools to look out for. There's a ton of prep schools out here in Canada, and I have to say that the caliber varies widely from prep school to prep school. So it's really important that if you do pick a prep school in Canada, it's even more important than the ones in the US, that in Canada you pick some of the top programs, because there is a big difference in caliber. And if you do play for a prep school in Canada, you do want to play for the varsity team if you're getting older in age. It's okay if you're a bit younger, but once you get older, you need to be playing for the prep or the varsity team, whatever they call it. It's really important, because if not, then your chances of getting scouted are much less. So that's one thing to keep in mind. In terms of how we ranked the schools, very similar to our video a couple weeks ago with the US prep schools. Here we basically used the My Hockey rankings for the past 5 years. Obviously we excluded the 2020 and 2021 season because a lot of teams, especially in Canada, did not play, if not most teams, I would say. So we excluded that season, and we're using those 4 years as an average to see where the programs rank. We're doing the same scoring system as we always do. Again, similar to the other video as well, we're not going to be using junior and NCAA advancements because it got way too complicated as a metric to use. And I think from what I've seen from this ranking list, the prep schools there are quite strong, and from what I've seen, from what I know from these prep programs, they do advance quite a few guys to the junior and NCAA level. So they are good programs overall on this list, and I feel like it's very representative. Obviously, some guys are going to come at me and say I know nothing about hockey, but you know what's new, that always happens. I can take the punches because I think providing this info to you guys is very valuable, and hopefully you guys appreciate it for that. All right, so we're going to dive into our list, but first, as always, just a quick reminder to absolutely destroy that like button, because it does go a long way for the algorithm and for more people to be able to see this kind of video. Also too, if you're new here and if you like this kind of content, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. All right, with that out of the way, let's dive right into the list here. So number 1 on our list here of top Canadian prep schools comes probably as no surprise is St. Andrews. These guys, similar to Salisbury in the US, these guys are a total powerhouse when it comes to prep programs in Canada. Their rankings kind of speak for themselves. So the past season was number 1, the one before that was number 1, the one before that was number 1, and the one before that was number 3. God, how could they be number 3 for the one before that? But it's kind of crazy to think that they've been number 1 for 3 years in a row, and they have a total score of 6, which completely outranks every single other Canadian prep school. So if you're looking for a prep program to go play NCAA hockey, or if you want to play major junior, whatever your path is, if you're looking for a top prep program in Canada, St. Andrews is the place to go to. That being said, they really do take some of the top players and guys that are highly drafted and stuff, so that's one thing to consider. But if you can squeak your way on that team, you have a bright future ahead of you. All right, so coming at number 2 on our list here is Burnaby Winter. Now, honestly, I have to admit, I don't know that much about this program. I did some research on them. I asked some buddies out in BC because this school is located in British Columbia. I asked them what they thought of it. They said it was a top-notch program, so I'm gonna take their word for it. I've never really seen the play. I don't know much about it, but their rankings do speak for themselves, so let's dive into it. Last season at number 3 in the My Hockey rankings, the one before that at number 4, the one before that at number 16, so they had a bit of a tougher season that year, but then the one before that was number 2. So consistently, except for one season, they rank really high, and they got a total score of 25, which obviously there's a huge gap between them and St. Andrews, but like there is a big gap between them and the number 3 and then the rest and so on. So there is a big gap, and because of that, I would say that they're at a solid number 2. Even though I don't know that much about them, I've heard good things, and because of this ranking, I'd say they're at number 2 solidly. All right, now moving on to number 3 here is a program that most people, if not every single person of hockey, has heard of, and that is Stansted. These guys are a powerhouse program located in Quebec, and every single season they're always good. I remember playing against them back in the day, and these guys were really, really solid. We actually beat them back in the day in overtime, which was really surprising, but you know, that's probably a one-off, and if we played them again, they'd probably absolutely destroy us. So they're a very good program. Let's dive right into the rankings here. Last season, they're at number 13, so a bit of a tougher season, still pretty good, right? But not Stansted level. The one before that, number 11, so still not like in the top 10 Stansted level. But then before before that, it was at number 6, and before that at number 4. So a bit of a recent drop off, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the next few seasons they start coming back up and maybe challenge that number 2 spot. So Stansted, really good program. And by the way, the total score is 34. So about 9 points off of 25, but you know, still very good and a solid number 3 here. All right, so here at number 4 is Northern Alberta, and they're very close to Stansted. Again, because they're out west, I don't know them that much in terms of a prep program. I asked my buddies out west around again, and they said they're very solid as well. So they probably do challenge Stansted a little bit. It depends, I guess, how the next seasons progress. So they're a point off at 35, but last season they're at number 4. Okay, so you could make the argument that recently they've been better. Last season before that, they were at number 2. Last season before that, they were at number 14. And then last season before that, they were at number 15. Okay, so it's really the last seasons that were kind of holding them back, and recently they've made a push for it. So the total score is 35, so 1 off. Don't be surprised if these guys next year, if they have another good season this year and next year's rankings, if they outcompete Stansted. It all depends on how Stansted does this year and how these guys do. So stay tuned for that. I think it's gonna be really interesting to watch. Number 5 here, and that is a program that every single one of us knows, and that is Notre Dame. These guys are out west, but these guys time and time again have been a powerhouse and have been known as the program in Canada to go to. St. Andrews is really up there, but for a long time, Notre Dame before that was really known as the program to go to. I remember when I was young, when I was playing AAA, the best player on our team, Slater Kukuk, went out west, and we're from the East. He went all the way out west to go play to Notre Dame because they were the program. That's how he was going to build his future, and now he's playing in the NHL. So it's really a really renowned program with a lot of history. Recently, they've been a little bit lower, but they're still in the top 5 here, which speaks a lot. So let's dive into the ranking. Notre Dame, last season, we're at number 16. The season before that, we're at number 12. The season before that at number 8, and then the season before that we're at number 1. So a little bit before they were really at the top, and recently they've been starting to drop off a bit. Hopefully for them, you know, they start bringing it back up so they're the elite program again, and that they can maybe challenge, you know, programs like St. Andrews and everything in terms of the rankings. All right, so moving on to number 6 here, we got rink hockey, which is located in Winnipeg, and there's multiple different areas for rink hockey, so Winnipeg's the one that we're talking about here. So let's dive right into the rankings. Last season, number 9, pretty good. Last season before that was number 5, which is honestly really good. Before that, it was 20, so they had a bit of a tougher season that year, but then before that was number 5, and a total score of 39. So really close to Notre Dame, and it's just because they had one bad season that they're pretty down there. So as we move forward here, if they consistently rank in the top 10, they might move up a couple spots in the future videos. So look out for that program there at number 6. Number 7 here, we got Edge School, and these guys are tied with a total score of 40 with the next program on our list, but because they've been better in recent years, they're going to stay at number 7, while the other one's going to be at number 8. So Edge School is in Calgary. We're at number 2 last year. Okay, so really high. Number 3 the year before that. So they've been really strong recently. Before that, it was 17, and then before that, it was 18. Okay, with the total score of 40. So recently, they've been really good. If they continue that trend of being a very elite, strong program, they're probably going to rise up in the list. So stay tuned for them. Now, moving on to number 8 here, which is Ridley College, a really strong program. I know the coach there really well, really great guy. They recruit really strong hockey players, really renowned. They recently, they had a bit of a tougher season at number 12. Still really good, obviously. Not like elite like Edge School did, okay? So that's why they're at number 8. Then number 9 the year before that, number 13 before that, and then number 6. So they honestly always like classify in the top 15, I would say, Ridley, with a total score of 40, obviously. So they're always in the top 15, which makes them a really good, consistent program to go to. And I've seen them play, actually. They're very good. So it's definitely a program that you want to keep on your radar, especially if you're from the Ontario area or nearby in the Quebec area. It's close in the area, so it's a really good prep school to go to. But these two, Edge School at number 7 and Ridley at number 8, tied for 40. These guys are really strong programs to go to if you're considering them. All right, now moving on to number 9 here, and that's Okanagan Academy in Edmonton. Now for these guys too, similar to the other one that we mentioned before, these guys have multiple locations, so it's really important that you go to the one that has the strongest hockey. For these guys, you do see a big drop off here compared to the top 8, compared to Ridley. Here you do see a total score of 62. So most recently, their season was 19. Before that, it was 6. Before that, it was 23. And then before that, it was 14 with a total score of 62. So you can see that there is a pretty big drop off here. And I would say the top 8 are the more like elite 8, if you'd say. Like St. Andrews is really elite at number 1. And then the other ones are all like quite close. And then there's a drop off at number 9 and number 10. That's kind of what you can see out of the Canadian prep schools. But still, Okanagan and Edmonton is still a strong program to go to if you want to get good development, good education, and you want to advance to the junior and NCAA level after. It's a good place for your development. All right, so last but not least, at number 10 here is Bishops. And this one really surprised me. I've seen these guys play. They are very good. They compete with Ridley. They compete with St. Andrews. They're honestly a very good hockey program. It surprised me that they were so low on the list, but I have a good feeling why based on the hockey rankings that we saw here. So let's dive right into it. Last year they were number 8, so really good. The year before that they were also number 8, so solid. The year before that though, they were at 22, and before that they were at 27. And the total score is 65, so a little bit under Okanagan. But my guess here is that recently they've become really strong. I actually seen them play the last couple of years, so they've been very strong. I think they're just an up and coming program this way. So because of that, they're at number 10. But in next year's rankings, look out for them to maybe jump over Okanagan and maybe jump close to the Ridley territory. And then as years go, maybe they will like start climbing up on this top 10 list here. But because of the recent strides that they've made, a really, really good hockey program to go to in Quebec if you want good development and go play NCAA hockey. All right, guys, let's just do a quick recap of our list here. So here are the top 10 Canadian prep hockey programs as of 2022 based on the last 5 years of the My Hockey rankings. Number 1, we got St. Andrews. Number 2, we got Burnaby Winter. Number 3, we got Stansted. Number 4, we got Northern Alberta. Number 5, we got Notre Dame. Number 6, we got Rink Hockey in Winnipeg. Number 7, we got Edge School. Number 8, we got Ridley. Number 9, we got Okanagan and Edmonton. And then number 10, we got Bishops. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this one and got a good sense as to which Canadian prep schools to go to. I know that I probably forgot a few of your favorite programs on this list. If I did, try not to trash me in the comments. Just let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think is the best of this list. But I think it was pretty accurate as to, where the top programs are. I think it was a good representative list in my opinion, but you guys let me know. If you did enjoy this video, and if you haven't already, absolutely destroy that like button. It really goes a long way for us and for you guys as well, and for other people to see these videos. If you're new here, if you're lurking, if you haven't already, and if you really like this type of content, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video moving forward. Also too, if you had any questions, any comments, anything you want to talk to us about whatsoever, drop a comment down below or send us an email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you on that next one.